This video is a response to a YouTuber called Shokyo, who has encouraged people to share a video where he talks about Ridley's Size being unfeasible from Super Smash Bros. 4. I respect other people's opinions, and you're entitled to think whatever you want to, but I still believe that anyone saying Ridley is too big for Smash is wrong. Let's review Shokyo's main points. First off, he says that people talk about Ridley's size in the original Metroid, and on this point I agree. His net size is a point in Ridley's favour, but it should not be the centre point of any argument about Ridley's size in Smash Bros. Things have changed a lot since the NES days. He then proceeds to go through all the Metroid games and point out Ridley's size. Yes, it is clearly established that Ridley is big. The only thing up for debate is whether he can be scaled to fit into Smash Bros. Let's do a full comparison to Bowser, who, like Ridley, wasn't much taller in the NES days. However, since being given a 3D model, Bowser has been consistently huge in the main series Mario games. He's only gotten bigger as the years go on. Even when he hasn't had a size increase, Mario barely stands taller than Bowser's knee. With few exceptions, the only time Bowser is close to Mario's size is when he's a playable character. Whenever Bowser is an enemy, he is several times the size of Mario. But Bowser is a turtle, and apparently things work differently for dragons, so let's compare the size of Charizard, another dragon in Smash. Charizard has likewise been depicted as huge, about the same size as Ridley, yet in Brawl he's barely taller than his trainer and only just twice the size of Pikachu. Compared to Ash's Pikachu in the anime, and even then consider that Ash's Charizard is meant to be quite small. So Charizard, another dragon similar in size to Ridley, was clearly scaled to fit into Smash Bros. Another thing Shokyo showed off is a mod of Ridley, and I'll admit the one he showed off looked extremely awkward. That's only one mod of Ridley in Brawl out of dozens. There are much better ones out there that look a lot more natural, which you should be looking at on screen now. And bear in mind, this is the work of people who aren't paid and do this in their spare time by modifying existing code in the game. Nintendo could do a much better job than what you see here, and what you're looking at now is far from bad. Which brings me to my last point, the evidence that Ridley could naturally fit into Smash, the melee opening. Yes, this opening is only 3 seconds long. Yes, it's not an in-game model. None of that matters. What's important is that the melee opening conclusively shows Samus and Ridley battling in a way that looks natural, with Ridley being greatly downsized. It shows a size for Ridley that can fight in Smash, and that's all that's needed. It doesn't matter how big Ridley is in his own games. Bowser's as big as a castle in some of his games. What matters is that Ridley can be scaled in such a way that it fits naturally into Smash. I fully believe Nintendo can do this, and like Shokyo, I encourage anyone watching this to share it around as much as they can. Metroid deserves a second character in Smash, and Ridley's size should not prevent that. This video turned out shorter than I was expecting, but that's because there's really not much to say. Ridley can work in Smash, and there is evidence to show it. People have put mods in Ridley in there that do work very well, and we have seen the melee opening where Samus is fighting Ridley in a reasonable size. That is proof. So that's just it. Ridley can fight in Smash, and to think otherwise is just not being imaginative. Nintendo can easily scale him down, and they have scaled down several other characters to fit the same size in Smash. So that's all from me. Share this around, and I'll see you next time.